Hi dear students, in the last class we had seen that Prince of Morocco comes to Portia's house and then Portia shows to Prince of Morocco different casket and Prince of Morocco reads the description written on the different casket. He goes first to the golden casket and what is the description there? Whoever chooses me shall gain what many men desire. And the second one he goes, it is the silver casket. And the description on the silver casket it was, whoever chooses me shall gain as much as he deserves. And finally he goes to the lead, the dull lead. And the description on the lead casket it was, whoever chooses me shall take risk in their life. Then Portia says, how can a person know whether he has selected the right casket? How one of the casket contains the picture of Portia. The person who selects that casket can marry Portia. So that is how the person can know whether he has selected the right casket. One of the casket contains the picture of Portia, and if the person selects that, he can marry Portia. Now we will continue with the rest of the scene. Take page number 70. Now Prince of Morocco is ready to make a choice in his life and he wants to read the description written on the different casket once again. And Prince of Morocco says, some God direct my judgment. Let me see. I will survey the inscriptions back again. What says this leaden casket? So here he says that may some God direct me to choose the right casket. May the God help me to select the right casket, and then let me see. I will survey the inscriptions back again. Survey here means I will inspect and I will read the descriptions or the inscriptions back again means in reverse order. Earlier we had seen that he started with the golden casket, then to the silver casket, and finally to the lead casket. Now he says that I will read the inscriptions back again in a reverse order. That means starting from the lead casket. And then he turns towards the lead casket and reads, who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. Whoever chooses me must give and risk all that he has. And after reading this one, Prince of Morocco is very much confused. And he says, must give for what? For lead, hazard for lead. This casket threatens. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantage. Must give. So he was not happy with that one. For what? For lead, hazard for lead, because lead is a worthless metal and he was not ready to take risk in order to get something worthless. This casket threatens. For Prince of Morocco, the lead casket gives a warning. Threatens here means it gives a warning. And the normal belief, what is that? Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. People always take risk in their life for what purpose? In order to get fair advantages, good returns. No one will risk or take risk in their life in order to get something worthless, but only in order to get good returns, people will take risk in their life. And for Prince of Morocco, the lead casket is something worthless. And he says that the description on the lead casket, it is a warning because normally men hazard or take risk in their life only to good returns. Otherwise, they won't take risk. A golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. I will then nor give nor hazard aught for lead. A golden mind means a noble man or a noble mind. Stoops not means bend down. Show of dross means worthless shows. Here Prince of Morocco says that a noble mind or a noble man, they never stoops low to worthless things. They never bend down to see the worthless things. So I am not going to give anything. I will then nor give means I will not give anything. Then nor hazard aught. I am not going to risk anything. And for what? For lead. In order to gain something worthless, I am not going to take risk in my life, nor I am not going to give anything in my life in order to get lead casket. So by seeing the very appearance, Prince of Morocco is not happy with the lead casket, and according to him, it is something very worthless. According to Prince of Morocco, it has got a low value. So he feels that it is not clever to hazard everything in order to gain something worthless. And for him, the lead casket gives a warning. And normally, the noble men, the clever people, they take hazard or risk in their life only for the good returns. But if he selects the lead casket, the description it says that he has to take risk in their life. He has to take risk in his life. So Prince of Morocco is not ready to go with the lead casket, and he feels that the noble people, and he feels that he is a noble man, and normally noble people, they never bend down towards the worthless things. So he is not going to take, or he is not going to take risk for this lead, or he is not going to give anything in order to get lead casket. Then he moves towards the silver casket. What says the silver with her virgin hue? The virgin hue means pure color, the white color. Silver here means silver casket. It says that who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves. Pause there, Morocco. His mind says to Prince of Morocco that just hold on, Prince of Morocco. And now you have to make a judgment. And weigh thy value with an even hand. If thou best rated by the estimation, thou dost deserve enough. And yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. The meaning is that hold on, Morocco, and judge your worth with an impartial view. If you are judged by your own standard, your merits may be very high. Yet it may not be sufficient to win the fair lady. So the mind says to Prince of Morocco that you have to make a proper judgment. And weigh thy value means judge your value. How he has to judge his value? With an even hand. Even hand means without having partiality or with the impartial estimation, he has to judge his value. And then the mind says to him, if thou best rated by thy estimation, and according to your standard, by thy estimation means in your estimation of yourself, and according to your estimation, you may be having enough value, and you may be having enough standard to marry Portia, though those deserve enough. And according to your standards and your estimation, you may feel that you deserve Portia. And yet enough may not extend, but that is not sufficient for you to marry this fair lady. So the mind says to Prince of Morocco, the meaning it is given right side, by thy estimation means in your estimation of yourself. Deserve enough means merit a good deal. Then yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. Yet that may not be sufficient to possess his fair maid. So here in a way the mind says to Prince of Morocco that in your estimation you may feel that you have enough value to marry Portia, but you have to think one more thing, that your standards are not sufficient to marry this fair lady. So you have to think properly, the mind says to Prince of Morocco. And then continues, and yet to be affair of my deserving, were but a weak disabling of myself. The meaning is that, and yet to be ensured of what I deserve is a sign of weakness, which would bring discredit on myself, or which may work against my chances of winning the lady. The meaning is that and yet to be ensured of what I deserve is a sign of weakness which would bring discredit on myself or which may work against my chances of winning the lady. So Prince of Morocco feels that his eligibility or his worth may work against him in order to win the lady. So here the mind says to Prince of Morocco that according to you have to judge your value without any partiality, and if you judge with your estimation and with your standard, you may feel that you have got enough worth to marry Portia, but that is not sufficient enough to marry Portia. So after judging his value, Prince of Morocco feels that yet to be ensured of what I deserve is a sign of weakness which would bring discredit on myself or which may work against my chances of winning the lady. My eligibilities, they may work against my chances of winning the lady. According to him, he is not having enough worth to marry Portia, so that eligibility may work against his chances of winning Portia. And then he continues, as much as I deserve. Why? That is the lady. Here we can see a change of mind. Earlier we had seen that Prince of Morocco is totally confused and thinking and feels that according to his estimation he is a good person, he is a noble person, but that is not sufficient enough to marry Portia, and that eligibility may work against him to marry Portia. But later he changes his mind and feels that as much as I deserve, I should get as much as I deserve. Then I should deserve the lady. I have got all the eligibility to marry Portia. What earlier he felt he is not having sufficient abilities or the eligibilities to marry Portia, but now he feels that he is suitable or he is eligible to marry Portia because he is always proud about his qualities. And why he says that he actually deserves Portia, and we will see the reasons why he says that he actually deserves Portia. I do in birth deserve her. So first of all, in birth I have got a noble birth, so because of my noble birth I deserve Portia. And second one, and in fortunes I have got enough wealth, more than enough I have got, so in wealth I deserve Portia. And the third one, in grace and in qualities of breeding. The grace means with the natural virtues I am blessed, so in natural virtues or graces I deserve Portia. And in qualities of breeding, it includes upbringing and education, the family background and upbringing and the education. In that also I deserve Portia. But more than this, in love I do deserve. More than this, in love I love Portia very much, and in that also I deserve Portia. So here we can find out a change of mind. First, he felt that he actually doesn't deserve Portia, and according to his estimation and his standards, he has got many qualities, but that is not sufficient enough to marry Portia. And then he felt that his eligibility may work against his chances of winning Portia, but then he changes his mind. He feels that he actually deserves Portia, and the qualities why he says he actually deserves Portia are: in birth he deserves Portia, in wealth Prince of Morocco deserves Portia, in graces or the natural virtues he deserves Portia, and in qualities of breeding he deserves Portia, and finally he says that in love Prince of Morocco deserves Portia. Then he says, what if I strayed no further but choose here? So here he says that what if I don't go any further but choose this casket? If I do not go further and if I do not move to the next casket, what will happen? After spending some time in front of the silver casket and thinking about his eligibility and worth, Prince of Morocco then moves towards the golden casket and he says, "Let's see once more this saying graved in gold." Now let me see and let me read the saying graved in gold. The saying inscribed on golden casket. Graved means inscribed or written on the golden casket. And what is the saying on the golden casket? "Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire." Whoever chooses me will get what many men desire. Then Prince of Morocco concludes that, why? That is the lady, all the world desires her. So the saying is that whoever chooses me shall gain what many men desire. And according to Prince of Morocco, the world desires only one person. Who is that? That is the lady or Portia who lives in Belmont. So Prince of Morocco believes that the world or all the world, all the men desires Portia. And then he says, "From the four corners of the earth they come." Here they means the suitors and the men who desire Portia. So from the four corners of the earth the suitors come. From the different parts of the world the suitors come with one intention, to marry Portia. To kiss this shrine. What is the purpose of the visit of suitors to this particular place called Belmont? To kiss this shrine. Here shrine, it is the reference to Belmont and this mortal breathing saint. Who is the mortal breathing saint here? That is Portia. This mortal breathing saint means the saint who is alive. So from the four corners of the world the suitors come to Belmont in order to see Portia. And the meaning it is given the right side, to kiss this shrine. What is the meaning of shrine? Shrine, it is a place where any sacred relic of a holy person is kept. Pilgrims kiss the relic to show their respect. So here Belmont is the shrine and there is a sacred relic, something sacred, something precious is kept. What is that? That is Portia. So the different parts of the world, the suitors come to Belmont and there is this mortal breathing saint, alive like an ordinary living person, yet a saint. Normally the relic or the saint, that is a reference to the dead people or the people those who lived a saintly life and the people those who died. And here the person is alive. Portia is alive and from the four corners of the world many men come and in order to kiss this shrine and see the saint. And kiss this shrine means come to Belmont in order to see Portia. So the meaning of these two lines, it is, from the four corners of the earth the suitors come to kiss the shrine of this saint in human form. The shrine, it is the reference to Belmont and this saint in human form, it is the reference to Portia. Then he continues that the Hyrcanian deserts and the vasty wilds of wide Arabia are as thoroughfares now for princes to come view fair Portia. The Hyrcanian deserts means the desert region to the south of Caspian Sea. Hyrcania was a province of the ancient Persian Empire. The Hyrcanian deserts means the Persian deserts. And the vasty wilds of wide Arabia. The vasty wilds means the vast wilderness or the forest are asked thoroughfares now for princes. Thoroughfares means main roads or highways. You know the difficulties while traveling through a desert or the wilderness, and it is something very dangerous and the ways or the road, it is very narrow. But for the suitors or the princes, those who come to see Portia, they feel the desert and the wilderness of Arabia as just like highways, and they do not find any difficulties. Why? Because they come to see something precious and they come to see what many men desire. So the obstacles or the dangers they face in their life, like the Persian desert or the wilderness, they just feel all the dangers just like something very simple, and the route or the roads, the narrow roads or the dangerous roads, the people or the princes or the suitors, those who come to see Portia, they feel just like highways and main roads. And then the watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spits in the face of heaven, is no bar to stop the foreign spirits, but they come as over a brook to see fair Portia. And the second types of people, the first type of people we have seen that people those who cross the Persian deserts and the wilderness, and they just feel that all the dangerous and the narrow roads just like highways. And the second types of people, they cross watery kingdom. Watery kingdom means the oceans or the sea, whose ambitious head means the ferocious waves. The ferocious or the violent waves of the oceans spits in the face of heaven, throw to the heavens or go up to the level of heaven. In a way, Prince of Morocco says that the waves of the ocean, it is something very dangerous, and he compares or he says that even it can reach a very height, even it can reach heavens. So by saying that, Prince of Morocco gives an idea that the waves are very high and they are just spits in the face of heaven, and is no bar to stop the foreign spirit. The dangerous waves of the ocean, it is not a bar or an obstacle for the foreign spirit or the suitors. They come, they are ready to cross even the oceans and the dangerous waves. Why? In order to see Portia. To stop the foreign spirits here, the foreign spirits means the suitors or the people those who desire to marry Portia. And then he continues that, but they come as over a brook to see fair Portia. Even though the waves are very dangerous, the suitors are ready to come to Belmont, and they just cross the oceans how? As over a brook. Brook, the meaning you know, it is just a small stream. The suitors or the people those who are willing to marry Portia, they just cross the dangerous oceans just like they cross a stream or a brook. And what is the purpose of their visit? To see Portia. So even in their life, the suitors are ready to take risk. The first one we had seen that there are some princes or the suitors, they are ready to cross the wilderness and the Hyrcanian desert or the Persian deserts, and while they cross the desert and the wilderness, they just feel like they are going through a highways or the main roads. Even though it is very difficult journey, then also the suitors feel that it is something very easy and they just go through the highways. Why? Because they are going to see something precious, that is Portia. And the second one, there are some princes, those who are ready to cross the oceans and the dangerous waves, and when they cross the ocean, they are not afraid and they just cross the waves and the oceans, the dangerous waves and oceans, just like they are crossing a small stream or brook. Why? Because they are going to see something precious, that is Portia. So they are ready to, the suitors are ready to take risk, and Prince of Morocco is sure that this is the thing which many men desire. So that is the reason why Prince of Morocco says that all men on the earth desire Portia. So once again I'll tell the meaning of these lines. So the Persian deserts and the vast wilderness of vast Arabia have become highways to princes coming to see fair Portia. Then the second one, the oceans whose ferocious waves throw up water to the heavens are not an obstacle to stop these suitors from abroad. They come as if they were crossing a stream to visit fair Portia. Hope that it is clear to you. And now we will see which casket Prince of Morocco selects. Then Prince of Morocco continues that one of these three contains her heavenly picture. One of these three caskets contains her divinely picture. And we know what is the condition to marry Portia. The person who selects or who chooses the casket which contains Portia's image can marry Portia. That is why Prince of Morocco says that one of three caskets contains her divine image, and then he goes near to the lead casket. Is it like that lead contains her? Twere damnation, to think so base thought. The meaning is that is it possible that the lead casket has it or contains Portia's image? And twere damnation, to think so base a thought. Such a low thought would only be worthy of condemnation. The right side the meaning is given. Prince of Morocco feels that if someone thinks that the picture of Portia is there in the lead casket, it is a damn thought. It is a low thought which will bring condemnation or punishment. And thinking that the Portia's picture is in the lead casket, it is a base thought or the wicked thought. And then he continues, it were too gross to rip her cerecloth in the obscure grave. It were too gross. According to Prince of Morocco, lead is an ordinary metal and it is something very inferior to other metals. That is why he says that it were too gross. To rip means to enclose or to cover. And cerecloth means a waxed cloth in which a body is wrapped for burial. After the death, before the burial, the body is covered with a cerecloth. And cerecloth is the waxed cloth in which a body is wrapped for burial in the obscure grave. Obscure grave means the dark grave. And the meaning it is given there, lead would be too crude or something inferior or something ordinary even to enfold or in order to reap the winding sheet when she is buried. Winding sheet here means the cerecloth. He feels that the metal lead is something very inferior and it can be used only to enfold the winding sheet when Portia is buried. Here Prince of Morocco is very much sure that the picture of Portia is not there inside the lead casket. Why? Because he feels that lead is an inferior metal or it is something very ordinary and it can be used only to cover the winding sheet when Portia is buried. And then he turns towards the silver casket. Or shall I think in silver she is immade, being 10 times undervalued to tried gold? O sinful thought, never so rich gem was set in waste than gold. So he feels that whether shall I think that she is locked up in the silver casket, whether she is inside the silver casket. And according to him, silver or the metal silver, it is something 10 times inferior to tried gold. Tried gold means the genuine gold or the pure gold. So for Prince of Morocco, silver casket also is something very inferior and it is something 10 times inferior to golden casket. For him, it is a sinful thought or a wicked thought that the picture of Portia is there inside silver casket. Why? Because silver is something inferior to pure gold or the genuine gold, and never so rich gem was set in worse than gold. So rich gem, what is the rich gem mentioned here? That is Portia. So Prince of Morocco concludes that such a kind of rich gem, it can be only inside the golden casket, because silver is something inferior and lead is something very ordinary and inferior. So the picture of Portia cannot be there inside the lead and the silver casket. And such a kind of beautiful gem or Portia's picture, it will be there inside the golden casket. Then he says that they have in England a coin that bears the figure of an angel stamped in gold, but that is insculpted upon. But here an angel in a golden bed lies all within. So he says that they have in England. In England, they have got a coin or the golden coin that bears the figure of an angel. If you take the coins, we can see that there are some pictures of the prominent leaders are curved, like Mahatma Gandhiji or the Jawaharlal Nehru. If you take 1 rupee or 2 rupees coin, we can see the images or the pictures of the prominent leaders. And here the Prince of Morocco says that in England they have got the golden coin on which an angel's figure is curved and stamped in gold, but that is insculpted upon. And that is insculpted upon. Right side the meaning it is given. The figure of the angel is engraved on the gold coin. And but here an angel in golden bed lies all within. Then he says that but that is insculpted upon. The figure of the angel is engraved on the golden coin. But here one more angel is here. And what is the angel mentioned here? That is Portia, according to Prince of Morocco. But here an angel in golden bed lies all within. In England, they have got an angel figure on the gold coin. But here I have got an angel named Portia, or here in Belmont there is an angel named Portia, and she lies within the golden casket. So here we can notice the difference between the angel or the figure of an angel in England and the angel in Belmont. And what is the difference? In England they have got the figure of an angel on the golden coin, but here in Belmont there is an angel and she is inside the golden casket. Right side the meaning it is given. The figure of the angel is engraved on the gold coin in England, but whereas in the case of the angel mentioned here in Belmont, that is Portia, lies inside the golden casket. Then he turns towards Portia and says, "Deliver me the key, give me the key, here do I choose, and thrive I as I may. Here I choose the casket, and whatever may be my chances of success." Thrive means success. I do not know whether it is a success or failure, but he says that give me the key so that I can select the casket for success. And an angel in golden bed. I hope that is clear to you. That is the Portia's picture in the golden casket. So hope that it is clear to you. And here finally he makes the choice. And what is his choice? Golden casket. He selects the golden casket. And what is the reason? Because the lead and the silver casket, they are so inferior, and it cannot contain the precious gem named Portia inside, and only the pure gold can contain the picture of Portia. And he says that in England there is a figure of an angel engraved upon the gold coin, but here in Belmont there is an angel, the picture of an angel, the picture of Portia, that is inside or within the golden casket. So hope that it is clear, and the rest of the scene we will discuss in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.